Well, hello everyone. It's me again, Sandy Saxena, on my favorite program called Ignite with Sandy. Yes, Ignite with Sandy. This is a program where I bring on amazing women from different parts of the world, different nationalities, different walks of life, different experiences. Because you know what? When you listen to them, they fire up the neurons in your mind and you say, wow, if she can do it, so can I. Many times, my guests have gone through very challenging times, and when they share that, I am absolutely amazed at the resilience and their courage. And when you hear that, you will get absolutely motivated. And some of the times, when we're doing this little drama about, oh, this is not going too well in my life, and I've got this ache or I've got that pain, when you hear other people's stories who've really gone through a lot, you think, this is absolutely minuscule, it's absolutely immaterial. So, my guest today is a very fascinating young lady. And I met her at conference. We happened to be sitting at the same table, and then we met at lunch. And I thought, yes, there's some kind of synergy going on there. And when she started speaking, I said, wow, this is interesting. This is something that I would love to share with my viewers. So, as you know, I never introduce my guest, I always get them to introduce themselves. So, I'm going to bring on this charming lady, and you're going to see her, and she's going to tell you who she is and what she does. Welcome, my dear. Thank you so much for making the time. And I know it's Ramadan and iftars and whatever else, but you're very dedicated. And I don't think these things really bother you. You're quite used to it. So, would
Yeah,
you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
sure do. Hello, everyone. My name is Zai. Sandy, thank you for having me on your show. So, my name is Zai. I'm from Singapore, currently living in Dubai. Where do I start? I have been an entrepreneur the last 22 years, traveled to 37 countries. Last weekend, I was in Uzbekistan, 38th country. I fractured, dislocated my spine in 2005, had to learn how to walk again. I now run a company called stepupjourney.com, which is a motivational training consultancy. It's 10 years old. And I help people step up to be on truth, to be the strong, soulful success they are meant to be. Yes, Andy.
Oh, thank you so much. That was whoop, so much into a little bit. So tell me, how many pages do you have in your passport? Does the Singaporean passport issue like special passports for people like you?
No, I pay a lot to renew my passport. I renew it before it expires all the time. Yeah. It's the
Okay.
same size as you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you mentioned something about this, some injury that you had, and I think that was a part of your journey which really made you, sit up and think what you needed to do with your life. So, could you please share with us,
Sure.
what happened to you and
Sure.
how did you deal with it?
Sure, sure. So, guys, in 2005, it was 22 April, I met with an accident. I was in a cab, the driver fell asleep. And I remember just before the accident, I actually called home. I spoke to my mom and said, Mom, I'm very hungry. Can you please put food on the table? That's what I said to my mom. And to my dismay and to everyone's dismay, I never made my way home until 3 weeks later because I met with a very bad accident. The cab hit on the back of an army trailer. I couldn't move. I remember my phone flew off the floor, and I mean, once I reached the hospital, what we eventually found out was I had a fracture and dislocation on my spine, and doctors say that even after the operation, 95% of the chance I will not be able to walk anymore. So that was one thing. And after a few months or years, I think my sister told me actually the doctor said I only had 50-50 chance of living in this world or to leave the world. So what you see here is a walking, talking miracle, and there is wisdom in everything. Yeah, Sandy.
Yes, I know, but it takes a special kind of person
Yeah.
to go through that pain and the surgeries and the not knowing but I think you have a very strong mind. And when you have that intention and of course the support of your family,
Mm.
then anything is possible. So how was that journey? Was it? Did it take a very
Yeah,
long time before you
yeah,
could
yeah.
actually start walking?
Yeah, so I don't know if I have a strong mind, but I know I'm a bit good crazy. And when doctor said I cannot walk anymore, I actually got bored after like I was hospitalized for about 3 4 weeks in the hospital. I was on self control morphine, and I was so bored. I was like, doctor, I need to learn how to walk. Please help me. And the bigger reason why I wanted to walk again was I wanted to serve my mom. Like when you're the last kid and you're not married, you are the mother of your mother, let's put it that way. So I really wanted to be there for my mother, and that I think gave me the strong willpower more than I have a strong mind, to be fair to my mom and to what it is. Then eventually I had to learn how to walk again. 6 7 months later, I was on physiotherapy. I remember when I reached the clinic the first time, the physio clinic, the doctor said, okay, now I was on the wheelchair. The doctor said, okay, now stand up. And I'm like, how do I get up? Because I was like literally sitting like that on the wheelchair, weak. And then two nurses helped me. And then when the two nurses helped me, they were like, walk. And I'm like, how do I walk? Like that was the crazy questions I asked. So this is the thing I always say, we need to learn to be grateful for all that we have and all that we are, because this breath, um everything, the vision, the speech, everything is things we need to be grateful for. That's why we believe in the the act of attitude of gratitude. I have this journal that I always do and I practice. So try to do it as often as you can. Yeah, attitude of gratitude.
Quite true. I think that's so important because we forget it quite a
Yeah,
lot and
yeah,
take everything for granted. But
yeah.
tell me, before you were this accident happened, were you studying? Were you working? What were you doing?
So right after school, I studied business management and HR. So at that time in school, I was the president of the Makeup Artist Club. I love this story because it was one of the best times of my life. So I was president of the Makeup Artist Club, and then I was introduced to henna art by my cousin. So my cousin brought henna art to home, and she said, Zai, I think you can draw henna for me. I have a wedding to attend. I didn't know I could draw henna. I only, henna is mehendi for those who don't know. So my cousin brought the henna. She said, I think you can draw. I'm like, okay, if you think so, why not? So never say never, like just go for it. So I took the paste and I started drawing, doodling on her hands. And she's like, oh, draw another one for me. And then she handed me out $50. Then I'm like, dude, this is cool. I can make money from henna. I was like 18 or something then. So I was like, this is cool. And then I brought henna art to school and with my makeup artist class, makeup artist club. It was a very fun thing. So I said, guys, let's do makeup and henna during our club meetings or events and stuff. So that's when I started. I actually kind of trained my artists, my teams, how to draw it, and eventually I started teaching henna art. I traveled to Japan. I brought henna art. It was supposed to be a 2 week stay. It became a 6 month stay. Then I was interviewed by Tokyo FM, by the magazines. We were on TV. Me and my friend, we went together. 2 weeks became a 6 month stay. So this is another thing, if I can share with your audience, if someone asks you for something, that means they have faith in you. Like you have to just try and do it anyway because they asked for it anyway. It's not like you asked for it or. So just try and never say never and just try. You never know. And then you see what it happens. You led me to Japan, took me to Tokyo FM radio station when I was 20, just interviewed by them, and then it was just history, man. It was super cool. I kept traveling with henna. I think through the henna we made our first $1 million business. So never underestimate your $5 business. It can make you a lot of money. It's really fun. Yeah, Sandy.
Yes, that's so true, because we sort of dismiss, oh, henna, oh,
Yeah.
this, oh, that, because we're sort of conditioned like, if you want to be successful, if you want to make a lot of money, you must get this degree, you must get that qualification, and,
Mm,
you must aim for this kind of a company,
mm.
be part of the corporate world. That's where the money is. And you very rightly said, we always underestimate, but it's, something, applying henna is an art.
It's
It's
very
not something.
therapeutic.
Yes. So
Yeah.
so it is creative. It's an art, and a lot of women. I know a lot of women here in the UAE. For their Pakistanis, Indians, whatever, and they do this beautiful work, and they charge such little money, and people
I know.
don't even appreciate what they're doing. But you're telling me that you went to Japan for this. So did you learn anything is different from there? Did you sort of incorporate the Japanese kind of art
Because
in your henna?
of course, I did sakura designs. I did tribal tattoos and dragon, dolphin. Because I love art anyway, so I incorporated a lot of designs from the real tattoos into the henna design. So that was actually quite a epic moment because very iconic. Because when we were there, a lot of men also wanted to get henna done. I don't know, is it because I was gorgeous? They just wanted to come near me because I will be very close to them, or they wanted the art done. But then in Japan, because tattoos are connected or linked to the yakuzas, the Japanese gangsters. So when we brought henna out there, it was a very iconic thing because to them it's like, hey, I can get some tattoo, but I don't have to be a gangster, and it will go away. So we brought something. What's the word? Not innovative. Something. It was a novice art for them. Novice, yeah.
Yeah, innovative, and it was giving them the opportunity
Opportunity.
of
Yeah,
experiencing something without having that permanent kind of thing, because maybe
yeah.
after a couple of years they don't really like it.
Yeah.
But did you do weddings and stuff like that as well?
No, what I did in Japan was to teach the students. I had many young people and also not so young, like couples, older couples who wanted to learn the art because I stayed there. It was winter and then spring when it was colder. Like there was not much of outdoor activities. So bringing the art actually gave people a bonding time. Husband and wife learned hand art. There was one guy. I remember this couple. They are bag makers and they love my design, henna design so much that they asked me to draw with fabric paint. Then we did some embroidery. I don't know what I did, but I did a lot of art stuff there. And so we incorporated henna designs on bags, on cakes, on cookies, with icing so you can eat it, of course. Yeah.
Okay, that's really taking henna art to a completely different level.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as you
Just
say,
as henna.
there's no limit to
No,
creativity, you
no.
know,
Painted on
and
walls at the spa of my friends. It's like so fun. Yeah.
yeah. So then, from the henna, was that before your accident?
That was before my accident. And strangely, like just before just after Japan, when I went back to Singapore, I knew I wanted to set up a henna school. I wanted to open a henna school in Japan, and I was so excited about it. And then I started saving money. And then when me and my friend went back to Singapore, we suddenly became celebrity henna artists because the media and everything wanted to catch our story. So like two Singaporean women went to Japan to do henna, ta 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 ta. So we became like super celebrity henna artists in Singapore. I had like 2 years in advance bridal henna bookings. Event organizers were looking for us, so not only did I do henna, I did like face painting, body painting, nail art, hair braiding. Like we had 20 services for corporate events and stuff. So this was really, really, really fun times. I had to hire my friends, my polymates, my schoolmates who were used to be my makeup artists. I was like, come on board, let's do something. So literally started a business from it. That's why I want to share how Zai Miztiq came about. This is interesting. You never planned, right? So my company name was Mystic Henna and Body Art. So when I had, and my name is Zaytuna, right? So when people call me, they're like, "Hello, is this Zai from Mystic Henna and Body Art? Hello, is this Zai Mystic? Zai Mystic? Zai Mystic?" And then my clients give me my name. Yeah, this is how Zai Mystic was born.
Yeah, because you just took the words out of my mouth, because I was going to ask you that question, why
Really?
mistake? I
That's
couldn't
why I have
figure
a
out.
Mystic Henna and Body Art. So Zai Mystic,
Okay.
yeah, Zai Mystic. And I'm like, yeah, Zai Mystic. I like this name. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So after your accident, did you think of going back to your henna and this all
so
that thing you were
I
doing, or you had a bit of a change of heart and attitude in what you wanted to do next?
Quite good question. Let me think about that one. So no, actually I still had the bridal henna bookings, remember, was 2 years in advance. So that one was quite tough because that also made me realize sometimes when we take money in advance or something, it's like you don't even know if you're gonna be alive like tomorrow. Like this kinda make me slow down a bit and think about life more. But eventually, I think I was also after the accident, a year into the accident, I wasn't teaching much because I was just healing. Or doing henna much, I was just healing. But I was I was questioning God a lot. I was talking to God a lot That's where the spirituality part came in. I was like, God, why didn't I die from the accident? Like, what do you want me to do with life? Like, what's my purpose? And so many questions. And then I started not questioning the religion, but I'm like, what's my purpose? Like, why am I here? Like, and I started questioning like a lot of things. So the point is, one of the days when I was doing my physiotherapy, so it's back strengthening exercise. So the most of like 90% of the movement were like the prayer movement, the Muslim prayer movements. I don't know if you've seen it. So when the doc and at that time, I mean, I'm born Muslim but was not really practicing. I went for Hajj and everything when I was young, but didn't practice. Yeah. And when the doctor, there was a Chinese doctor who said, okay, do this exercise, do this movement. And I'm like, wait a minute, why is this Chinese doctor teaching me how to pray? That's exactly what I said in my heart. Then I'm like, then after a while, I started thinking about it. If this is strengthening and this is good for me, and my specialist said, whatever the physio taught you to do it in a 2-3 hours interval. Okay, the exercise, do it 2-3 hours interval. Then I reflected back on our prayer timetable because it's like 6 a.m., 9 a.m. There's a special prayer, 12, 4, 7, 9, and then it repeats. So I'm like, there is some signs in this, and it's a sign that God is pulling me back by the collar, like, come and worship me. So that's when I started seeking God and seeking spirituality. And one thing I want to share is that a lot of people who practice religion, I think it's mostly just ritual. It's just here or here. I really encourage people to look into spirituality. It's not just ritual. You need to be spiritual. This will really help you in your actions, in your thoughts, in your emotions, in how you deal with people around you. So that's when I started to learn more about the religion. I also was from a Methodist school. For 5 years, I was studying the Bible and all, went to chapel. So to me, this is something, Sandy, I wanted to talk to you about. Remember about culture. You want to come back on the screen, maybe? Culture and religion and how twisted people are. um we are all one soul made by one hand. I think this is something we all need to remember and
Yes.
know. No matter what our color, where we come from, whatever, like, there is that spirit inside all of us. We are just like micro being of a whole
Yes.
macro universe. So yeah, this is, I think, something we should really talk about more than anything else, because this makes us who we are, and then pull you back to like, okay, now, so what if you met with the accident? Like, pick yourself up again. Maybe someone had a bad marriage, maybe someone had a loss. Like, you are alive. Like, life have to start again, and there is the power of God. Like, of course I have stress and worries and anxieties. I'm only human, okay, people. But with all those, then when things become okay, and then you're like, oh God, I didn't trust you enough, I'm sorry. Like, then you restart, you
Yes.
renew your intention, and then you step up your game, right? And that's why I say step up journey is a womb to tomb experience. It's not a cradle to the grave. Cradle is too late. Yeah.
Yes, very
Yes.
true, very true.
Yeah.
You've made some very interesting points, and irrespective of which religion or faith, you follow, or if you're just a spiritual person, or you think you are,
Yeah.
these are universal
Of
pointers that you're giving us. And
course.
if we really tune into our internal GPS and go deeper inside ourselves,
Yeah.
that connection is always there, but we've just sort of disconnected.
Yeah, exactly. Connection.
Yeah,
Because if I can share this, it's very interesting. The Arabic word for salah is to pray. The
yeah,
action. That's what a lot of people think. Salah, Sod, Lam, Ha is to pray. But if you read, when I learned Arabic, I was in Jordan, Morocco, Yemen after my hijab business, which I started, and then 5 years got save money and I traveled again. So I was in Jordan, Morocco, Yemen for 2 years. So I was on a journey to learn Arabic to escape Singapore. But actually, I wanted, the more you see, this is another thing. When you journey out, actually, you are actually craving an inward journey. You are running inward. You need to find out what's inside. That's why I started off as a motivational speaker. I go to a lot of motivational training and stuff. I realized All of that fail people. What people need is healing transformation. It has to start inside out. So starting going back to the salah, the root word of the Arabic letter is sod and lam. Okay, it's like S and L. Okay, and what that actually means is to connect. But a lot of people, they just pray and pray like, okay, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, but there's no connection. And even recently, when I started, when I was praying, I reflected again because the first intention is usolli. I intend to pray. I intend to connect. So these are little things. If you ask an Arab person, they didn't realize this. I've said this to so many Arab people. It was really, I feel, a wisdom God granted me and shared with me for me to share with people. Yeah, Sandy.
Very true, darling. And what you're saying is so special and actually so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not complicated at all. You don't have to be highly educated for you
No,
for because this is something which is connecting with your creator, connecting with the
connection.
higher self, with the
Yeah.
higher being. That was it. So then, when did you start writing, and
Okay.
what made you start writing?
Writing. Okay. So
Mhm.
writing the books. Where are the books? These are the two books. Let me show you. This is Turn Your Passion into Profit and five things I love about being a woman. So as I said, what happened after Jordan, Morocco, Yemen, I came back and then I was learning Arabic and then I was invited to teach business Arabic conversation in the uni. And it was really fun because I taught like some Chinese kids, Indian kids, Malays. It was a nice mix. Then after that, I think that was the period when I had a lot of people calling me and asking me, how do you travel so much? How did you learn to walk again? How do you do this and that? And I remember the last 10 days before I returned to Singapore from Yemen. Again, my mom gave me, at the time she was still alive, she gave me a rate card. She said, please stop traveling. Travel after I die. And then her words came true actually now. So she gave me a red card. So I said, okay, mom, I will come home. So in the last 10 days when I was in Yemen, I said, God, please tell me what I should do when I go back to Singapore. I don't want to just go back there and feel lousy again and need to run out again. I'm done. Now I have a red card from my mom. So that's when I prayed and I prayed and actually I didn't pray it. There I was like, I don't want to pray. Like I just want to sit and ask God a question. Like I was being my rebel self. Then I had an answer. It says serving God is in serving his creation. Then I realized, okay, there was a reason why I didn't want to pray. I'm not saying don't pray, but sometimes when you're too ritual, you lose the sweetness of the faith and the spirituality. So when I said serving God is in serving his creation, I came back to Singapore. I said, okay, now what? Show me the sign. Everyone kept asking me questions. How do you do this? How do you travel? How do you do this? How do you set up a business? So simple. 5 minutes. It's a 5 minutes thing to open a business account in Singapore. Then a lady on my Facebook wrote to me. She says, Zai, I need to speak to you. It was a lady who I met randomly at an event once, went on my Facebook, and we became connected online. So I called her. I said, yeah, just talk to me. And in 10 minutes, she said, thank you for talking to me. I was just thinking to commit suicide. And I feel better now. When she said that, Sandy, I was like, no. But of course, I didn't say no to her. I act cool and I was like, okay, sister, if you need anything, I'm here. You have my number. You can call me anytime, 24/7. When I hung up, I said, God, now what do I do? Which one? It's not henna business, it's not hijab business, it's not teaching Arabic, it's something else. So I said, maybe money is the problem. Let's teach them how to turn passion into profit. Turn their hobby into money. That's how the first book was born. Because I
That
thought money was the problem, right? Then I wrote the first book. Where as you are doing something, you always wonder, oh, who's going to read my book? I'm not good enough, and all this nonsense that you keep telling yourself, which may be true, may not be true, but it's not true. First
yeah,
100 copies, first 100 copies sold within 6 weeks without any media, nothing, just my Facebook. Then I was like, okay, this is real. Like, okay, I can make money from this. This is fun and can help people. And then people started calling me and crying. People wanted to know more. It's like, how, Zai, how to do this, how to start, what to do, what to do. I'm like, I already gave you the formula in the book. Go figure out. So then I realized I needed to do something more so I can support more people. That's how I started speaking. I was invited to my school to speak first. And then I have my workshop, step up workshop. I have my mentoring program. So I came up with a sisterhood mentoring program. But before I did all that, I invested in myself. I hired coaches, I hired mentors, I worked with so many people that when I eventually I paid them like 5,000, $10,000. Of course, not all at one time. One time and then make money back and then reinvest, reinvest, reinvest. Has been spent a good 100K, 120K on myself at that time to be the strengths coach and everything and put a program, a comprehensive program, because I realized a lot of times people can only mentor you like, okay, how a relationship or emotional, psychological, financial. What I did was I created something so holistic, and I call it the 3D system. So first step is for you to diagnose your strengths and identity. Then, because I studied psychotherapy and counseling and I love this work of inner healing, I help them get past their past to identify who you truly are. Because a lot of you watching this, I'm sure, are just living your cultural program self. Is this the true you? Are you being authentically you? So these are things you need to operate. My mom wanted me to be a heart surgeon. Now I help people open heart surgery, find your truth. Okay, so when you know that you do have to diagnose your strengths and identity, get past your past and come back to who you truly are, you can operate from an authentic giving space. You don't need to be needy and clingy. It's all work in progress. I'm work in progress. I'm not saying I'm perfect already. Then desire check, knowing what you want and getting there. Then deciding how you want to get there and getting it done. So yeah, Sandy, you asked me how I'm crazy and do so many things and think out of the box. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
life
But
teach me.
then came the very interesting part
Which one?
about the books, and what
Yeah,
did you do with one of these books? Because when we spoke about that earlier, I said, whoa, this is something totally different. So can
yeah,
you share with us,
sure, sure.
the journey about how this happened and all of that? Because I'm sure our viewers would love to know.
Yeah. So you're talking about a Braille book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course, after that journey of identifying and creating stuffs, I wrote the second book, Five Things I Love About Being a Woman, and then how the Braille book came about. So I want to show you guys first before I speak, so you see what I mean. This is a bigger, heavier book. Look how thick it is, and then you can see it's I think the light is too bright, but yeah, this is all produced by an Uzbekistani English teacher in Karachi city, not even Tashkent, a small village, which I just came back from last weekend. So the story is I knew I wanted to help a lot of people in my heart. This happened by God's grace because 2 years ago, a friend visited Uzbekistan. She actually supplies braille machine, teaches them how to repair and all that stuff. So when she was in Uzbekistan, they said they are learning English and he's teaching English to young kids. They want to be motivated. They are very ambitious, but they need motivation. But they need a English motivational braille book. She said that guy, the teacher, said it to my friend Anna. So when Anna heard it, she said, "Wait, I know one person." It was me. Again, it was me. And then she called me on the spot that evening. And the next day, I was already speaking to the teacher. I'm like, okay, what do you want? What do you need? She's like, I want this, 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 this. I said, okay, cool. So after 2 days, I cleaned up my manuscript, removed all the pictures. Guys, we're so grateful for our eyes. I had to delete all the pictures, simplify it a bit, put it together, send it to Shakir, and he took 6 to 7 months to produce the braille book, get some friends to edit and read and to check everything. And just about 3 to 4 months ago, he said, "Okay, Zaituna, the books are ready. It's in Uzbekistan." I'm like, "You fly to Dubai. I want to have some copies." So I flew him, hosted him for 3 4 days, and it was his first time to travel solo. So while he was reading and editing, he said, "I feel like there's some magic power." He felt very powerful. And then the fact that he get to travel and experience solo travel as a visually impaired person, that gave him a new sense of power. So when he brought that, then after that we raised some funds to produce more books. So 2 weeks ago, I did a launch of the Braille book in the UAE. And when he heard it, he's like, "You know what? My school is having a function next weekend, and I think we're going to launch the Braille book as well." So, yeah, Sandy, that's how. And he told me that on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I booked my flight. On Thursday, I was in Uzbekistan. And it was -1. I didn't wasn't prepared for the weather.
You know something, out of all the things that you've done, in my personal opinion, this has been the most
Yeah,
valuable
yeah.
contribution.
I think this will be cool. But I like what you just shared because 3 weeks ago when I was doing a corporate training for some senior managers and regional directors, the topic was authentic public speaking, effective communication and collaboration and coaching. But me being me, I said I'm not going to teach you guys how to do authentic public speaking. I'm not just going to teach you that. I'm not going to teach you effective communication. The first few hours we worked on healing transformation. And at the end of the session, the kind of things that all these senior big guys and ladies said, they're like, oh, I need to work on forgiving my son. I need to ask, no, I need to ask forgiveness from my son, a senior man, father, like big man said, I need to ask my son for forgiveness. So because I believe a lot in forgiveness and loving kindness meditation. So I don't know what and how, but when that man said that and a few others, it's like this is very powerful session. I'm like, I just stood there and I'm like, if there's ever one thing I've done right in my life, is this moment. So our presence is the greatest presence, Sandy, and you too. Thank you for you.
Yes, I know.
Presence is the greatest.
And you know something, where when we met at the conference, we were sitting at the same table,
Yeah,
and I always believe that there's nothing like
destiny.
chance.
Yeah.
We were supposed to meet,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
connected, and uh, the actually the thing that kept you in my mind was the Braille book.
Ah,
You
nice.
know, because that I was totally fascinated by that,
Yeah,
because you don't generally come into contact with people, you
no,
know, who are dealing with individuals with some
no.
kind of a disability. You know, we're so busy in our own lives, we don't
Yeah,
really care to see
yeah,
or
yeah.
make the time
I
to
know.
find out what else. And as you said, you know, the gentleman who traveled, imagine him coming here visually impaired, but he
Yeah,
had the courage, and
yeah,
your connection, and your, you know, telling him, so what, of course it can be done, because you yourself have been through a very challenging time in your life, so you
yeah.
know that it can be done,
It can be done.
right?
Anything at the end of the day, like even for me, I honestly I wouldn't give credit to myself for the braille book. All I did was actually send a manuscript. This is purely God's work. It's purely God's work. And the beautiful thing was, I never thought about it, but when I was in Karshi city, not Tashkent, the smaller village in Uzbekistan where the book was produced, it is really a city of knowledge. They invited me to some museum. There were so many scholars that were born and created scripts and a lot of knowledgeable thing. And the fact that this braille book is produced in Karshi city, I'm like, when I found out, I'm like, God. And I read something at the museum. I've come on board. I want to see you when I speak. It's weird to speak alone. So when I went to that museum, I told you about the city, about the knowledge and all. The president of Uzbekistan said this. He said, for change to happen, it's not his quote, but something like that. For change to happen, our youths need enlightenment.
Yes,
When he wrote that was written on the wall. The next day during my braille book launch and when I was presenting, I said, because they were very impressed that I'm from Singapore, because Madam Halima Yaakob, our president, is a lady, a hijabi, who went to Uzbekistan by economy class or something, and they were like, oh, she's so humble, we love her. So they had something diplomatic going on with Singapore. So it was good branding for me actually. So Mr. Shafkat, I think his name, said, oh, so I quoted them. I said, I saw what your president said about the youth need to be enlightened for change to happen. I said, but for the youth to be enlightened, we adults need to step up.
yes,
We need to
quite
be the
true.
resilient, confident, compassionate leaders before our children can be imposed anything. Yeah, this is something we need
That's
to
true.
say.
Yeah, very, very true. Actually, what I feel is that we sort of give up our responsibility, and we only look at our children, about uh, imposing on them certain rules, regulations, and instead of being, what should I say, appreciating what they do, we're always asking them to do more, always pushing them. This is not enough. You need to achieve this. You need to achieve that. You have to
This is
get this grade. And we actually push our children away, and they turn into these very sad little individuals who
exactly.
feel that no matter what they do, they will never be able to please us. And I
Exactly.
think that's a very, very wrong thing that we do.
It is a vicious cycle of generational curse, I call it. That's why we
Yes,
need to step back and heal so that we are more conscious of how we deal with people, let alone
yes,
our children. I think a lot of adults, they throw their storms on their children.
yes,
You are not supporting them. At least don't burden them.
yes,
I always say this is my principle of life. If I don't add value to someone, at least I don't bother them. This is so important.
yes, very
Yeah.
true. Anyway, darling, we're coming to the end of our um, wonderful session, and I know that you and I can go on for a very long time.
Yeah.
But, right? But
3 days,
so,
yeah.
yeah, but in closing,
Yeah.
I'd like you to share some of your mantras of peace of mind or something on business or how we should be looking at our lives,
Yeah.
because most of the most of our viewers are women, and they are always caught up in some kind of drama. So maybe
I'm drama
you've
queen,
been
you know?
you've been
I
through a
will-
lot of drama yourself.
Oh
So
God.
having been there and done that, what few pointers can you give
Yeah.
us in
Thanks
conclusion?
for not asking for one. One will be really difficult. One, I think the very first thing is financial ability. I think we need to have financial backing, guys. You cannot have not money in your hand. It's not possible. Because then you don't have that freedom, that choice, the ability to do what you want. Imagine having to ask for $2, $5, $10 from someone every time. If you don't have financial ability, then there's something to start with. You have a hobby, you have a passion, someone always come to you for help or something. You have to start thinking how to turn that hobby into money, turn that passion into profit, monetize what you have, because financial ability is the key to how I can freely do what I want to do. Alhamdulillah. Okay, financially I'm not even saying independence. Think about it. I'm not talking about financial independence. Financial ability, stability. You need to have resources. Number two, of course, your health, because without health, you have nothing. Most importantly, work on your inner healing. Heal that little girl you are still in an adult body. I think that little girl needs a lot of hug and love. And every time our drama start to act up, it's not because of the present moment. It's because of a trigger or a trauma from the past that we haven't worked on healing. And yeah, you can depend on people, but you have to depend on God more than anything. So codependency is not wrong, but you have to be independent.
Very, very
Having
true.
a partner is sweet and cool and good, but it's not from ego. It's just for your sanity and your emotional stability. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. And what you've said is actually a lot of common sense, but we also know that common sense is not very common.
Yeah, I know. And also age gracefully, like me and Sandy. Sandy, you say I'm young. I'm not that young. Huh?
No,
I'm
you're still younger than me.
okay. Yeah, true. But I'm 43 though. I always look 28. I know this one.
Okay,
So
so you come into my children's category.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes, mommy.
Yes,
I told
yes,
you I'm
that.
a mini you just now.
Anyway,
Yeah.
darling, it was wonderful
Thank you
having
so much.
you, and thank you very much for making the time
Thank you.
to actually come and be my guest, because I think what you've shared has been very valuable. And if nothing else, when people are watching you and listening to you, your vibe, your energy, that bubbly personality
Yeah.
comes right through.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank you,
for
my
having
love.
me, Sandy. You take care. Stay
Yes.
blessed.
Take care. God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Amin.
So there you have it, the very bubbly Rai who takes life with a pinch of salt. But she made some very interesting pointers, and some of them, of course, were bang on what I say. It's about financial stability, financial freedom, and not depending on other people, doing things yourself. So when you are financially stable, you can obviously do what you want. You have more choices in life and you can make decisions for yourself. You don't have to depend on others. And the other thing that was, I think, what we need a reminder for is the spiritual connections, right? We're sort of so busy in our lives that we forget to look inside, to commune with a higher source. And when we do that, we actually empower ourselves so much more, energize ourselves so much more. And I like the way she describes herself, good, crazy, just my kind of person. So before I go off air, I would like to tell you this, that when we talk on Ignite with Sandy, yes, it's a lot of fun, nice thing to do, but it's also important messages that we are sharing with you through our life experiences. My guests coming on air and talking about their life experiences, their challenges, being open and discussing what went well, what didn't go well. And that's what Ignite with Sandy is all about. So before I leave, I have to remind you, you're supposed to subscribe to the Celestia channel. Number one. Number two, you're supposed to view this video, like it, and very important, share it. So, till we meet next time, thank you very much for watching and for listening and for sharing. God bless and bye for now.